Reunited and it feels so good. Were we flat there?
Welcome back to the Side by Side Guys Offroad Podcast. I'm Big Z.
And I'm the dude that's been missing for the last couple of months.
Holy cow, we have a guest in the studio. Nice seeing you here. Is this your first time?
It's not my first time, but things have changed. There's 2 cameras in the way. I can't see you anymore.
That's been kind of nice about the remote, is that we don't have cameras in our faces anymore.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a hot minute for sure. A lot going on.
You've changed everything. We don't have the TV going. Normally, you'd have like Hammers highlights or something going on.
I should be running
You're going to
highlights.
at least give me some direction. You bring in your little prize show pony and you just expect me to wing it. But I mean, that's what I'm best at. So
we've been out of the studio for a while for various different reasons. I had COVID run through my house. We had the end of the year stuff that everyone goes through. You had some health issues within your family that you took care of, and hopefully Pops is feeling a little better, but you were able to take a break and come over to the house and have a podcast with us. So
yeah, I found about a 45-minute window where I can jump in to knock some of this out and
You've been
get right
pretty
back
busy.
on the job. Oh yeah,
I'd like to see your call log. You're on that phone 24/7.
Do you want to know? Seriously, no.
I'm sure you're over 200 by now.
So I got bored the other day and I couldn't sleep, and I started to do the math on notifications, direct messages on multiple platforms, notifications on social media, email, text messages, and phone calls. On average, between 9:30 to 6:30, 2 nights ago, I was getting 6.3 notifications per minute.
Wow.
Per minute. I was surprised I didn't throw my phone into the Columbia River because I was driving through the Columbia Gorge.
Yeah, you
It
went
was
down
a rough day. Yeah, no, 100. I want to say by 9:30 at night. By the time I got home, I'd had something to the tune of about 130 phone calls that day. Yeah, it was ridiculous. So it's been busy.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So you just got back from Oregon, like you were saying. You were down by the river. What were you doing down there?
Is home.
The Chad has his sleigh back.
We got Kyle back. Kyle's not quite fixed yet, though. We had a steering rack. Superior Motorsports did a magnificent job getting that thing back up to speed, but it was on dune tires. And obviously, you've been there. It's all pavement around there, so it's not like they can just go out there and go test it and rip it.
Yeah, you didn't leave them your dirt tires.
Yeah, so the steering box is shot. So that's going to have to come out before we go back down to Dunes and the Goons. What did I just say?
I don't know where you're going with that.
Goons and the Dunes, yeah. We're kind of taking that event over, man.
Yeah,
I'm kind of pumped on that. I think maybe next year we might have to look at doing some official.
Might have to do an official get together.
Don't you think?
Throw a party.
Yeah, no, I dig it.
Maybe we'll do that this year. We'll see.
We'll do it this year. Yeah, what the heck?
So for those that haven't been following the vlog on YouTube, subscribe, smash the button, as they say.
Smash that button.
The X3 did a little oopsies out on the beach as it was going through the side trail and hit a stump at full speed.
Did you do that?
I didn't do that. Did you
I
do
didn't
that?
do that.
Somebody did that.
Somebody did that.
They kind of just made a big bam sound.
This is what happens when you give cameramen the keys.
That's why I don't say I'm a cameraman. I'm an off-road enthusiast.
That's right.
So the car took out a stump, or I should say the stump took out the car, and the rear passenger was thrown far to the driver's side.
Yeah.
And took out your toe link and
took out a hub, took out a radius rod, took out a tie rod, took out a steering rack. And then
I'm still trying to figure out how it took out the steering rack, unless it bounced off of that first.
That steering rack was probably about this close to tapping out anyway.
You think you were just on it too hard?
I think so. I think it was time.
But, and that has the upgraded rack in it from the RC series. So, I mean.
Right. Well, and I mean, so when you hop into my rig right now, you have power assist going left, and then it is basically an 81 Chevy on 40s with no power steering going to the right. And so it likes to lean left. And, I mean, I'd like to think that we're kind of a moderate to right-wing show. And going left just won't be
Just
tolerated.
too far left, huh? So we'll have to rectify that.
That's right.
So it went to Superior Motorsports. We have some buddies over there taking care of it, and I think they just replaced the rear hub and the toe links and all that stuff.
Every other week, I was getting a message on something new that they found that they had to replace, and yeah, I'm very happy with how it's all lined out right now. Like when you go look at it, and you and I were talking about it on the way home. Like if you did a walk around on my car and you didn't know any better, you might think it's stock. But like those Cognito radius rods, they're about as big as a baseball bat. They are meaty, you know.
Yeah.
So we put Cognito radius rods on it. We put Cognito tie rods on it. Changed out the hub. Superior did all that. They changed out the hub. And she's ready to rock and roll, man.
That's awesome. Can't wait to get back in her.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's what she said. And so
That's what she said.
No, God, no. Yeah, so that car should be up and going as soon as we get a chance to check out that steering rack, and maybe we'll do some video on that. Just kind of digging into it and figuring out what's wrong with it.
You remember when we committed to go back to Winchester? We're going to make like an annual February trip out of it. We're 2.5 weeks out. Like I think we made that commitment like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And then just all of a sudden, bam, we're 2.5.
All of a sudden we're here.
Now we're doing what we did for all the BDRs, where we're cramming to get everything done at the last minute so we can go ride. So
yeah, but the BDR the whole time we were thinking, yeah, we have time, and then this one we just haven't even thought about it.
No,
until
not
it's
at all.
here.
Just like, oh, it's ready. Let's go.
So hopefully we can all make it out and have a good time. Last year the video was pretty awesome, and this year I think if I can get myself down there, I think it'll be pretty epic what we can get. So
we got some new gear this year.
Yeah,
it's going to be veritable, like I don't know, Gone with the Wind of UTV, dude. We're going to make this cinematic and beautiful.
Yeah, so everybody's always surprised about how much effort we put in, but it's because that's what we want to see.
Sure.
We want to see epic stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the content could suck, but if it looks good, game on. It's like, man, I wish these guys would ride fast, but man, it's beautiful.
Right. There's too much to see and experience for sure. That's the hard thing about, I mean, even on the BDR, right? Just like there's so much that you're trying to accomplish, let alone see, and you never think about stopping and taking the camera out to experience, show everybody else what you experience.
For sure, yeah. I mean, you get kind of caught up in the beauty of things, and that's okay.
That's all right.
I definitely want to take people along for the ride. You
should allow yourself to do that.
Yeah, we want to have fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah, things should be pretty awesome in Oregon. Always is. And our listeners will give us crap about talking about dunes again. But
deal with it.
So last time we were really in the deep of a podcast, we were talking about kind of the transition from 2020 to 2021.
Dude, it's been a long time, man. I mean, the Speed UTVs came out and everybody got their order.
They dominated the racing, and everybody's getting their shipments.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
see
been
them on
so
the dunes all the time now, and man, those things rip.
It's funny. I haven't been keeping up on all the episodes that Gordon does for his brand every week, but the last one he spent a fair amount of the time just defending their time frame. And there's a certain aspect of that. I mean, they bit off more than they could chew on the original timeline.
Yeah.
And part of that was developing their own motor, where supposedly they're telling us that, they shopped around motor blocks from Yamaha and Kawasaki and all these different places, and they weren't able to get anything. And so they decided to develop their own block. Now, I have a feeling that was the intention from the very beginning. I think that decision was made long before they made their announcement.
Yeah.
But, to each his own. I mean, they should be allotted some credit to what they're doing. They're developing an entire new product set
for sure,
and it's not building off of years of previous product sets. So
yeah, and we can speculate as to why this, that, and the other. But we ordered a trailer, we ordered a new RV, and it's not a toy hauler, and I assume that they're dealing with the same problems that every manufacturer in America is dealing with, toy hauler and RV sales are through the roof right now, and a lot of the manufacturers they're really, really back ordered, and it's not the trailers, it's not the metal, it's the air conditioners, it's the water heaters, this, that, and the other. So I'm sure Robbie's running into some instances where certain manufacturers can't get parts fast enough, and that's probably where some of those delays are. But
Right.
we've seen some video of the car.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the other thing to know is that they're never going to show us where exactly they're at. They're never going to be like, this happened yesterday, so we're going to show you today.
Right.
Like, it's always going to be out further so that they have time to massage whatever that thing is, or that information, or that
Right.
experience, or whatever. So it's pretty rare that you would get any of that information timely as it happens. You would always get it after the fact. So, but shout out to them. They got an awesome car being built, and I can't wait to see it. My biggest concern with them at the moment is just their suspension being too focused on the desert and not super flexible in the trail and the off-road enthusiasts that do other things besides, whoops in a straight line at 100 miles an hour.
Do we have a definitive width on the car?
Yeah, they do, and I'll put them up on the overlay here if you're watching on YouTube. Just can't call it off the top of my head, but they have all the specs on their website right now.
Yeah, I heard something like I've heard 75, then I've also heard 80.
They have if I remember right, it's an 82 coming on their Gordon edition, and then they have I think stock is a 77, and then the smaller version coming out next year, or I should say it was supposed to be this year. We'll see what happens. Was supposed to be a 74, I think.
I wonder if we're going to get some like training wheels or something to put on those things, because it's going to be really wide for some of those toy haulers.
Yeah, that's been the big thing.
That's a
right?
real thing.
And that's funny thing is that they're also pushing out a partnership with a toy hauler brand too. So
Really?
you can literally buy your Speed UTV, a toy hauler,
A tool sleeve, a tool roll,
a toolbox full of tools, the RV, the insurance, you can buy the entire package all through Speed UTV. So he's doing something interesting there as far as bundling and trying to work out deals for his buyers.
I just wonder if he's just done with vendors altogether. It's just like insurance, got this.
Well, it's not his, but he's partnering with Allstate.
Oh, gotcha.
And then, so he's finding ways to integrate with the services that they're buying into. So yeah, you can buy the Speed Edition toy hauler. You can buy the Speed insurance package. You can buy all that stuff. And of course, that's what we've seen out of Gordon, right? Is a marketing guy, someone that patents everything and then markets everything.
Partnered with Allstate?
Yeah.
So here's the part where I'll let you do special effects to make my voice lower, where it's like
You're in good hands with, wait, how much power does this thing have?
Wait, who's driving this thing?
Exactly.
It's that Allstate commercial where they're out in the desert doing a film shoot, and the cops are like, "The desert got the best of them," and it's a speed car upside down.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So, anyways, not to talk too much about Speed. Looking forward to seeing that actually come to consumers. What else is going on? I heard Polaris dropped their new Polaris Pro R, right?
It's been out for a couple months now.
Yeah.
They've fulfilled all the pre-orders. They've had 3.
I mean, shoot, we've been driving them for months, right?
3 recalls, and yeah.
So, just to hit on that topic again, we're getting a lot of flack for holding up the Pro R, and we're really sorry for.
Yes, us talking about it is holding it up.
We've done our best, but we just came to a conclusion that we should just hold it back even further, and it's our decision to make, right? So we're just holding the Pro R back longer.
I've talked to a couple influencers that are supposed to be getting one, and they're saying first quarter.
Yeah, we're saying
around
within the
April.
next couple months, right?
Yeah, in one ear, out the other. I guess we'll see what happens. I want to see it. Not only do I want to see it, I check the balance on what I owe on the Can-Am. And I'm like, man,
Where's the room? Where's the wiggle room?
Might jump into one in the fall here.
The interesting thing is that I had posted some teasers about some imagery that I had gotten of the Pro R, and I decided to take them down.
Did you get any flack for it?
Not for taking them down, but I got flack for putting them up, for not putting up the whole picture. And I was trying to give Polaris some time to release it because we all thought it was going to be out this week.
Right.
And obviously it's not. And we obviously didn't see it at Hammers.
So the fact that we didn't see it at Hammers means I'm throwing in the towel on speculation, because that would have been
been the time, right?
For sure.
At the Can-Am event, like the Can-Am sponsored camp.
Yeah.
I mean, how awesome would that have been?
Either that or that's just great strategy. It's like, we know Can-Am's going to sweep the podium, so why would we want to bring the new car out here?
That's actually a big possibility. If they're titling it and then they're sweeping and they have influence at that point, having money in the game.
Yeah.
Polaris wasn't there as the title. So, and interestingly enough, I really didn't see a ton of Polaris pushed branding on the cars and on the athletes and all that stuff. Like, they had their athletes there and everybody was competing, but it wasn't the media show that it typically is for Polaris, which is really interesting to me. But to go back to what I was saying, I had posted some teasers because I was trying to give them time to get it out, because the teasers were of imagery that I pulled off of their public website. Like, the images I've shown you, obviously you're in cahoots with me.
Yeah.
So I've shown you the public URL to the
100%.
actual image. They're on the website, and if someone's clever enough, they could go right now and find those images on the public website.
You know, the thing is, though, is, you know how they say, like, LeBron James is just built different? That's the way you are. And like, when you get in front of a computer, there's really no hiding much of anything from you, because you found the first images, you found the second images, you found
the third, fourth, and fifth.
You found the third, fourth, and fifth. You found patent applications.
Yeah, looked up the patents.
There are 300 million people in America, and 299,999,099 could not find this information.
Did not put those pieces together.
But some dude in Eastern Washington with a big red beard is just, pardon my French, pissing in Polaris's cornflakes.
Yeah. And it's, you know, I do it out of love. It's one of those things where you mock
It's
each other.
excitement.
It's like, I'm just so enthusiastic about the product.
For sure.
And I love the Polaris platforms, and I love, you know, everything there. There's a reason I like them, because they do something for me. And they, as in, like, they don't sponsor me, but like, as their products,
We've made a lot of great memories on their equipment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And my family has tons of memories that wouldn't have happened without their products.
I go back with them on snowmobiles, and I'm just some of the best times of my life.
And I mean, it's not like everybody likes the dog on the big guy. I mean, but for all intents and purposes, they put out some of the best products in the market. Now, that's a subjective opinion, right? But the truth be told, you know, look at the sales numbers, look at their warranty numbers, look at every big manufacturer has their battles to fight, but you know, they're a multi-billion-dollar company for a reason.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I wanted to touch on the topic of, I pulled those teasers down because I kind of had a realization about the people that I was affecting and the people that don't have a say in this matter. And as a former employee of a company that works hard on the back end to make things happen and to not really have a say or any opinion or input on what happens on the front end, you know, what I had done directly impacted everything that happened on the front end, but I was never really able to put a face to that, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of guys and gals that work for these companies, not just Polaris, but Can-Am and Honda and anyone else, that do a lot of hard, long, late nights to make these things happen for us, the consumer, right? And, you know, by cheating the release schedule on a lot of these things, I'm dishonoring their hard work, and I'm dishonoring their late nights, and I'm dishonoring their 50, 60, 70 hour weeks and the hard work they've put in by putting these things out there. So that was something I was in my lazy boy thinking about this stuff and was like, man, if that was me, how pissed off would I be, right? Like, and you know, to the marketing people that made a mistake and left things out in the open or mispublished the picture or whatever. You know, a lot of people are going to say that was on purpose, but in all reality, it was just, you know, somebody has a lot on their plate. There are a lot stressed out people that are working on this stuff that just, it slipped. And some schmoo like me comes along and blasts the internet with it. It's not really fair to that guy and that gal. So I kind of had a change of heart. And so you won't be seeing super secret stuff plastered all over the internet, but I will continue to snoop the registry and the patent office and do all that kind of fun stuff. But if someone just makes a mistake and it gets out there, then I've kind of taken a corner on that to say, I'm just going to help them out to do a better job versus me calling them out and blasting them on the internet for failing.
Right. Right. I got to say, though, too, you know, in relation to what you were actually putting up there, probably 5% of the community knows what they were looking at.
Right.
I don't mean that as a slight. It's just some of this stuff is very subtle and you got to know what you're looking for.
Yeah. And there was a lot of hints towards possibly seeing the car this week. And And I'll just reiterate,
Man, are they doing a good job of keeping us in suspense? Polaris is probably looking at it right now from a marketing standpoint. They're like, let's just confuse the heck out of those two jerks in Eastern Washington.
So here's
just
my
let them
thought.
keep talking about
They probably had like 50 grand ready to promote and tease this thing, and they're like, why do we need to spend the money?
It's like, Zach.
That guy.
Yeah, we'll let it leak that it's coming out Tuesday, and then we'll go with like April.
They're just waiting for Gordon to get his car rolling, and they'll be like, oh, okay, now we're going to realize.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I wonder if there's something to that. Like, I wonder if they have some inside information about what Can-Am has coming, what the other OEs have coming. And then secretly, maybe they know that they're about to shape the game, and in fact, basically just throw a massive shot across the bow, and thinking to themselves, "Yeah, let's let these guys release this stuff, and then we're going to come in and we're going to drop the ace."
Right?
It's
possible, or they may be like, hey, this is an unproven platform, and we just want to control the market opinion about the platform. And so there might be some strategy there. I wouldn't doubt that.
They know people are talking about it.
Oh, for sure.
No question about it.
Well, I mean, they have people in all the Facebook groups and all the forums and stuff like that. Not even like participating, just watching.
My biggest concern is, though, I mean, it's absolutely obvious that Kawasaki just threw down an unmatchable gauntlet with the new KRX. I mean, what a machine, dude.
I tell you what, that KRX SXS, that just changed the game.
Yeah. Since I was in your studio last, I have turned into the biggest troll.
This whole episode's turning into a troll.
Oh man. Like, I'm getting text messages almost every time I'm chiming in on Facebook. I don't know if you've noticed this. The Noobs have taken over Facebook. Like, if you go to all the big Polaris pages, all the big Can-Am pages, all it is Noobs asking how big a tire they can run, what's the best clutching. If I see another lighted whip, and then I just...
What whip you all running?
Yeah. But the best thing about it, and I just discovered this today because I suck at the internet, but on their thread, if they ask those dumb questions up in the top right, you just click that button and you can say... let's say somebody like Troy Smith commented, "What's the best whip light?" You can click up on the top right and say, "Never see anything from Troy Smith again." And I click every time I see those dumb questions. I'm like, I'm off it. Yeah, I just.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, when you're a new to the industry, you are curious and asking those questions. Now, granted, there are some people that take a little bit of an obvious lack of effort to find out their information. But
it's also evident in how bad Facebook has just stomped on the forums. Because prior to Facebook being the resource that it is now, everything was forum based. You would go to RZR forums, Can-Am forums,
right,
and you could find all that information. But
those are still great communities.
They're still great communities, but nobody's using them the way that they used to.
Not in the volume. Yeah,
for sure.
Facebook groups have definitely taken over that.
Absolutely.
And the thing is that honestly, the forums, everybody's using the same forum software or whatever, and it really comes down to is just the ease of getting into the information you want.
Yeah.
And Facebook search, basically makes that easy, and being where you're already at on your phone makes it easy, and not having to go create another account for another website, and all makes it easy. And
I'll give you that. That's a pain.
It's a big annoyance.
Yeah.
And there's been efforts by different technology manufacturers to make that easy with single sign-on and sign in with Google and all this other stuff. But it still is just a process.
There's got to be an all-encompassing UTV thread. Like for motorcycles, like for dirt bikes, there's Thumper Talk. Thumpertalk.com is everything from thumpers are 4-strokes, but they have 2-stroke stuff in there as well. And every manufacturer, you can go from Suzuki to Husqvarna to Honda, the whole ball of wax. And Thumper Talk is basically what you and I are complaining about. Anything is researchable, and you can find what it is that you need related to suspension or motors and stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, there probably is a page like that for UTV, just maybe it hasn't been promoted enough.
Well, the biggest thing is like somebody will make an actual thread with that intention, like the definitive lighted whip thread, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the problem is that it's a very niche group of people in a place on the internet that not everybody's at. And then you go through 60, 70 comments of what people are actually just what they bought off eBay or whatever. You never really get information about what's the best choice for you.
Yeah, you don't get any.
You start 4 pages up, and by the time you get down, you've gotten nowhere.
See, you're already working me up right now. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, no, it's totally annoying.
So I've actually thought about starting a website dedicated to that, but then it frustrated me that it was still just another website.
Yeah. So I just picked up the X3 from Superior. Sometimes you'll notice me tag the guy that runs Superior is a guy named Will Gotterman, and we know him. We'll have him on the show. We've had him on the vlog.
Yep.
Or no, we had the store on the vlog.
Right.
But
He wasn't there.
when we see the most ridiculous thing posts on Facebook, we will tag each other. And I'll tag him and just say, "Hey, Will, can you help this guy out?"
Right.
Just like when we see the most goony thing ever, just the most ridiculous thing, we'll just start tagging each other. And I mean, we'll get everything from like ejection seat comments to all kinds of different stuff. It's pretty ridiculous.
So, anyways, yeah, that was kind of my thought process on the Polaris thing, and so we're just gonna now we're at a point where we just wait for it to happen and see what happens. I mean, we really don't have any more information at this point outside of we know people are getting them at some point.
Right.
So
I still can't believe that we're not talking about that Cowie. It
is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, I can't. I drove by the Honda dealership down the road here, and they had two out in front. I mean, what? Got to be the only two in the country. Just people lined up, traffic jams on I-5 to get the new Cowie. So sick.
I think, okay, for those that don't know, Kawasaki has been teasing for about 4 months that they're going to come out with a new model set of vehicles. I think 3 months. Saying January 26th or whatever it was, 3 new models. And the time before they did that before was literally just a color change and an option to buy one with a winch. That was all it was. And so everybody was pissed off about that. And we're getting into 2021, January, we're getting close to everybody starting to release new, awesome, exciting things for summer to come out in the spring. And they come and say, "Hey, we got 3 new models coming out." Mm-hmm. And they didn't say like 3 new versions of the KRX. They didn't say, 3 new mules.
You and I are very literal people. When you say new model,
we heard model.
We heard new model.
Right. So, there's an obvious trend of people saying, "Hey, it's just everything new is going to just be a new bold graphic, right? New bold colors." And so we had the best hope, and we gave them the idea that we're all wanting something new and exciting.
We allowed ourselves to get excited.
We did.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that if you don't make that mark, you lose exponentially more value in the community, right? And so they came out with a couple updated. Why am I stumbling here? Terex 2 and 4s.
Yep.
Which have, I think, 2 inches wider suspension.
So sick.
Super long travel. Super long trailing arms.
Dominant.
And is going to dominate the trail scene.
Get it.
For sure. It's going to get deep mud.
Yeah.
Huge portals.
Yeah. Way more horsepower now.
Way bigger tires.
Yep.
And 1200 cc. They're breaking through the barrier. And they're coming with a 2-inch 120 wall cage.
I can't take it anymore.
I told you this whole episode's just going to be a big troll. But so they basically came out with the Terexes with a couple inches longer A-arms, basically. And they arched them a little bit and called them high clearance.
Yeah.
And no new power, no new anything. And then they came out with a KRX ES edition, which literally is the exact same car as the previous car, but with the new Fox IQS system in it. So
bold new graphics.
And they do have a new bold red color. So they went to the Honda dealership. That's why the Honda dealership had them out front, Ian, was because they were red.
Yeah.
But basically it's the same KRX, same lackluster powered band.
I'd still take one though.
They're still awesome cars for sure.
Yeah.
But we were expecting to see a turbo or a narrow trail car or a 4-seater. Those 3 things was what everybody was asking for. Like if you were considering a KRX or willing to trade their car in for a new vehicle being a Kawasaki, you either were looking for waiting for a 4-seater, waiting for a turbo, or it was too big and you need a trail version.
Yeah. Over in Japan, they're probably just watching the Facebook threads all the time. They're just like, dude, wait till these Yanks get a load of this. We're going to make it blue now. they're going to go nuts. So,
Well, they already had a blue one though.
did they? So much I pay attention.
So, yeah, that was a big disappointment come January 26th when we saw that. I mean, if you were into buying a Teryx 2 or a Teryx 4, I mean, congrats. You got the option now to have a little bit bigger machine that's a little bit more stable. But
yeah, I'll tell you one thing that I've seen since, especially since everybody started selling out with what's going on with COVID is you see a lot of traffic and a lot of content and a lot of comments around where you can get the best deal on these machines. I think you and I are on the same page with this. Guys, don't expect to get a good deal on a side-by-side right now. They're selling everything that comes off the assembly line. So these dealers are going to they know they can get max dollar for these things. So when you try and heckle with them or you try and wheel and deal with them, I mean, just don't expect the deals that we were getting 18 months ago.
Or even just 7 months ago during the breakout of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Like it was a big deal back then because no one knew exactly what was happening and no one understood that the market was exploding.
I paid $22 for in November of 2019. I paid $22 for a 2019 X3 RC, brand new, and I could sell it for $25 today.
You could,
yeah. And I could probably sell it for $25 with half the accessories it has on it. So
only one set of Baja lights.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got a new pair of Baja lights out there.
Oh, I had them. I just found a home for them. Yeah, it is holy cow bright.
Yeah,
it goes.
You're starting to teeter on that line of Baja light setups.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
you have so much lumen up front.
Yeah, I'm turning into that guy. Just like
I hate to break it to you, but
you've
been there for a long time.
I mean, in Jeeps and stuff like that. In Jeeps, they make fun of the guy with all the lights. What's the expression? It's like all that lights and no lockers.
Right.
That's slowly but surely turning
the car that's upside down, nice or stuck in the mud. Nice light bar.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think we've successfully trolled at least 4 different brands and at least 4 different communities.
Let's keep it going. I'll tell you one thing. You want to go somewhere positive? Have you heard one bad thing about the RMAX yet?
Not in normal use, but in high-speed trail use, it bucks and is a little stiff. Yeah.
From a reliability standpoint,
no one's complained
nothing
yet.
but good things.
They had something that was going on. I'm trying to remember what it was. There was a community. The RMAX community was talking about something. I can't remember what it was, but it was minor. And it wasn't anything that they didn't know about, and they were replacing it as.
Was it on the 2-seater or the 4-seater?
Both, yeah. It was. I think it was like a brake thing or a hub thing or something like that. But it was taken care of, and it's not a problem. It was just one of those things of a new model. So, I really need to edit down the video I have of checking out the RMAX at Westside.
Yeah,
and get that done because it's a cool car, and awkwardly enough, I fit in the back seat of the 4-seater.
Are you kidding?
I am not kidding.
Wow.
So at 6'2" and hefty, like I was able, I mean, it's not like getting into a Cadillac, but if you can get your big fat feet into it, then you actually can sit in it and
that
be reasonably.
Eliminates me.
you can sit in it and not feel like you're squished. Now, that said, their engine sits between the passengers in that foot area. So your left leg is up. If you're in the back passenger, your left leg is up on the hump from the engine compartment. Your right leg is up on the side of the door. Like it's not big and comfy like maybe in a General 4 or a Max, X3 Max or something like that. But I was able to get it, and I didn't feel like I was inconvenienced by it.
Yeah, it's good to feel. I feel validated because when that thing came out, we were excited about it, and it looks like it's not disappointing anyone.
So our friend over at Northwest UTV, Kelvin's
got one, yeah,
and he's been ripping in that thing.
He's been doing some pretty cool obstacles on that thing. I've noticed too.
He's got it all fully enclosed now.
He said he had one complaint, and that was just he wanted to chop the cage about maybe somewhere between 2 and 4 inches.
It's a tall car.
It's a very tall car, yeah.
And the other thing, I mean, it's the top of the cage is well above my head. I think it's
really,
like the actual peak of it is well above my head, stock from the factory.
It's like my Ram.
And the other thing I noticed, and I'll go over it in the video when I edit it down, is I noticed that the preload on the shocks was almost all the way down the threading. So I'm not sure if their clearance is stated at that completely preloaded state, or if it's just that set from the factory was maybe misadjusted, or maybe the installers didn't do it right, or whatever. But if their clearance was at full preload, then when you pull that back for comfort reasons, you're going to lose clearance and not have as much clearance. So it'd be I'm going to look into that a little bit further and see if that's actually, what the actual expectations going to be set to the potential buyer. But I love the looks of it. I love the hood. You take the hood off, it takes off almost the entire top of the hood of the car, and the battery is up in front where you would expect it in like a normal vehicle. Everything's accessible there. The airbox has the kind of like the Yamaha where it's just a foam cylinder that you pull out. That's all accessible from the front of the car.
The interior ergos are spot on.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah.
And I really like...
And it looks good too.
I really like that they have the turn dials for like the lights and the drive modes and all that stuff, because those little switches when you're kind of bumping around and doing stuff,
I can see that. Yeah.
You hit the wrong thing, and if you just have a dial, you can just slam your hand up there and turn it
For sure.
So a lot of the ergonomic things in that car were pretty spot on.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Polaris came out with a trail mode. I think maybe it was kind of in an effort to compete with the little Mav Sports. You
talking about their new 900s and their 1,000 trails?
Yeah, I dig them. I saw kind of mixed reviews online. I think people were looking for a new performance model.
Right.
But nonetheless, I really dig them. And you get big... If I don't mind letting the cat out of the bag, it sounds like you're going to be going to the East Coast for a little show this year. And I think you would probably, when you get eyes on those Hatfield trails, you're going to see how valuable a car like that would be out there.
A 1000S trail would be
killer.
Awesome out there. Yeah. So Polaris came out with a refresh to their 900 and 1000S lines. And they now adopted the 2018 19 XP1000 fascia refresh, so that has the Fang Light look to it now, albeit a little bit smaller. I think the Fang Light size and all that is the same, so you can actually interchange those parts, but the actual fascia is a little bit smaller. But so it has the updated 2018-19 transitional refresh that they did on the XP1000s, and it looks just so much better. Now, that being said, they rounded the cage off.
Yeah, like the old Honda Odysseys.
Yeah. And the first thing that everybody said was...
Oh, there were trolls galore.
Like just instantly. Like everybody hates that cage.
Yeah.
Now...
People have been hanging around with me too much.
Now, what's interesting is that the leaks of the Pro R show that their cage is rounded off on that vehicle. So to think about the Pro XP's cage, how it's kind of a wedge up front and then drops over on the back. Think that B-pillar, C-pillar transition being rounded. That's going to be, I would expect to see that on all the RZR branded models going forward. So
when was the last time we actually did a podcast in studio? Because did we even do a follow-up on Sand Hollow? Because you and I got to ride with we got to ride with who the heck were we out there riding with? We were out there riding with Rock Blocks.
We had Rock Blocks let us use their KRX.
Yeah, and he had his 2-seater Pro out there, and that thing was just dominant. That thing was
tearing it pretty good.
Oh, it killed out there. Yeah.
Yeah, we went out with Rock Blocks, and we went out with Amped, and we went out with Sector 7.
And I went out there with a 4-seater and broke everything I possibly could.
Did you break anything?
You broke an axle, busted loose a tie rod, 1 or 2 belts. And when I mean
something
belts...
Like
I was
obliterated.
I was not messing around. Yeah.
Did you break the housing on that? Did you crack a hole through it?
I cannot confirm nor deny that. Yeah.
So that's the funny thing about.
I tell people it was in a drive-by incident and got shot.
You were driving through the hood.
That's right. Somebody opened fire.
I have a problem with the new cars, the high turbo cars, the high RPM, high output cars, the X3s, the Pro XP, the Turbo S. They've gotten to a point where the housings that are surrounding the belts now don't keep up with the exploding nature of the belt.
Yeah.
These cars aren't the trail cars. These are not the Rangers and all that. People aren't taking it easy on these cars. And so the plastic housing they've designed around these belts isn't sufficient to withstand the nature of the belt exploding.
Yeah.
And the most common way for a belt to fail is by exploding, because at that point, no one's taking it easy. They're just full RPM. So very rarely do people go, oh, there's a a tooth missing out of my belt. I'm going to change my belt today.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty rare, unless you're doing maintenance on your car every ride. So they just need to upgrade those. They really need to redesign that and make that sufficient for the nature of what happens with those cars.
As much as we've talked about that Pro R, we're starting to see more and more of the RZR Pros guys stretching them, putting them on long travel. And I really wish Polaris would make that thing 72 inches from the factory, because we've ridden with a couple guys that are running long travel. Mine's on long travel, and it is, I think it's the way to go. Oh my gosh, they are performers. You've seen some of the footage like Al Macbeth has put out lately, where he's ripping around on anything from pavement to some of the stuff that he had. Correct me, I think he had his Pro out there at Sand Hollow as well. But just gorgeous. Sector 7 had their in-house machine, the Pro XP. They have an HCR long traveled one, and they're so wicked.
All three machines that you just mentioned all have HCR long travel.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, like at first going into those, I was like, man, that's a lot of money. But the result that you get out of that is a phenomenal kit. Like it's super strong, super durable to anything you throw at it. And it looks
like
amazing. And if you do the spring kit and then all that stuff to go along with it, you're going to be not regretting that purchase decision anytime soon.
Yeah, and even after, even not running dynamics, once we put some preload into my Pro, it rides great.
Yeah,
rides really well.
Little monster truck,
and that's with not the greatest shocks.
Yeah, no, you definitely need new shocks.
For
Those
sure.
Walker Evans 2-inch in the front just don't do it for a four-seater.
No, it's just way too heavy.
Yeah, so if you have a Pro XP and you're running Walker Evans, you're doing yourself a disservice on that.
Especially
not
if
saying
you're
that they can't do a good job in certain scenarios, but if you're hard on your machine,
rider,
like we put those cars through so much that that's too small.
Yeah. I think we had let me see, 246. We probably had somewhere to the tune of about 750 pounds worth of dude in our car when we were in Coos Bay.
Yeah.
And once we could throw some preload in it did it okay.
Did all right.
Did all right, yeah.
Of course, you're not slow into those transitions sometimes.
Me?
You felt the lack of bump stop in those shocks. But anyways, to move on, looking forward to kind of the rest of the year. Anything that's sticking out that's exciting you?
With everything that's going on at my house, right now it's just I'm trying to. So for those of you who don't know, my dad was not well, and he's home now, and we're just kind of dealing with that, managing that. The situation hasn't particularly improved. About a week to 2 weeks after he got home, my mom was in a head-on collision at about 60 miles an hour on Highway 390 or Highway 2 up north of Spokane, Washington. And she drives a little Toyota Highlander. And at 60 miles an hour, that car took it, just flat out took it. And she could have had 4 people in that rig with her. If they were all buckled in, they would have walked away. She had some bruised on her sternum, some bruises on her legs. And then, combine that. Now, if you notice that I'm changing seat positions, like every single time the camera pans back to me, I annihilated my back. So it's been a challenging like 2 to 3 weeks, but we're staying down, staying humble and stuff like that. But with what's going on, I'm looking forward to everything. And the reason, and it's overwhelming what's on the schedule right now. Absolutely exciting, but it is also it's going to be a challenge to pull off, kind of with some of the things that we have going on the home front. And there's probably going to be some opportunities for us to do. You and I haven't generated a heck of a lot of content locally here. We've got our ORV park out here. We've never been there. We've got our Moses Lake Sand Dunes. We've never been there together. So, in 2021, despite all we do have going on, I think we'll use some more local resources and stuff. I think you're probably going to see us. I think we should do a vlog up in Priest Lake,
Sure.
Just kind of mix it up a little bit. But a lot on the plate. Definitely a lot on the plate. In terms of what I'm looking to the most, it already happened. It was obviously that Kawasaki just put it right in the stratosphere. And so,
yeah, great deals. Yeah. Buy one for everyone in the family.
Nothing else really matters after that. So, yeah.
But we have a few trips planned, overlanding trips that will be really awesome and stellar.
Insane.
And, I've started...
We're going to have to pump the brakes on some of that stuff because of how many people want to come along.
Oh, there's definitely going to have to... We're going to have to
I'm not even going to
be a
say
little
the
bit more
state
quiet
that we're
on
going.
it.
Yeah, I'm not even going to say the state that we're going after, because I mean that's slowly but surely turning into a real big deal, and we want it to be fun, not a job.
Right.
You know,
managing people is a lot of work.
It really is. It really is. And I think we got a great crew. You know, I put up an Instagram story the other day where I was listening to our Idaho podcast when we had the whole group.
Right.
And I was smiling, I was laughing, but I was also bummed. Like, it was like 25 degrees outside, blowing 40 miles an hour here, and it just takes me right back to 90 to 100 degrees going out and just having, like, we had a great time. You know,
sure.
It took us a couple days to get our legs under us to really get a feel for what was going on in each other, and then once it just ascended from there.
Well, and a lot of us
so much
were
fun.
meeting each other for the first time on that trip and figuring each other out. And so it took a little bit to get comfortable and to let loose and to actually not be so wound up.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, we did Idaho and Washington and all that. And now we're looking forward to some more states, plural, for possibly conquering this year.
Yeah.
And they all have unique challenges and unique personalities that go along with that. So that should be a lot of fun. And I'm super excited that I've actually started getting, progress on the video from those shoots.
Yeah.
So I put out a teaser for the Washington run, which was more of a test run to kind of what we were going to be doing in Idaho. It wasn't really like we were trying to conquer and throw down on Washington. It was more of like, let's try this out, this process, and see what happens, right?
And, one thing for 2021, congratulations on, Cat's out of the bag already. You're all over the Takeover website. Going to be doing some work with them as well.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
To add to the complexities of scheduling around trying to do a cross-state trips, I've jumped on board with the UTV Takeover crew, and Steve and Jim have done a phenomenal job of growing an amazing community event that happens across the country in a short, 3 to 5 years. The first year was a small thing. The second year, it blew up in their face and became a big event. And then, the last 3 years, if you've ever been to a takeover event, you understand that it's a huge thing to comprehend.
Let's just call it, it's the best. It's amazing.
The thing is about it, and the reason why I'm so stoked to be a part of it, there's a lot of industry events that happen throughout the year, and
regionally,
they're all
every week,
and they're all kind of the same thing. They're all someone rents out the Coliseum or the big show place that people go to in their area, and then all the vendors put up their tent, and then everyone stands behind a desk and says, hey, this is who we are, this is what we do. And then you walk around, you pay 15, 20, 30, 50, $100 to go walk around and meet all these vendors, and then you go home.
You were awfully busy at Coos Bay in Utah. You were at about to double to triple down on that. That's the way that it feels, because it sounds like, with the way that the vaccines are being distributed, it sounds like we're going to have a realistic shot at a normal takeover, possibly.
It sounds like we're going to have a rebound year for sure. Now, to be clear, COVID's not going away. It's still going to be a problem, logistically for businesses and events, but also just personally, you're going to have to understand that it's not going away. The news always says, when COVID's over, it's never going to be over. It's just going to always be how we handle it.
It's whether or not we can manage it or not.
Right. And so, last year, a lot of events failed and shut down, and a lot of things happened in not a normal way because we didn't know how to handle COVID, right? And the nice thing about the election finally being over and the vaccines finally getting out, we're going to move towards a point in time where we're just more of moving forward versus trying to figure out how to handle it. So this year, I've signed on board with Takeover as the lead marketing and media guy. And so I've taken over a lot of the responsibilities that were on Steve and Jim's plate. So the thing about it is that the community nature of the event, I feel like, is a very unique thing that you just don't experience at a lot of these shows. You have something to take away from it. You have experiences to take away from it. You have photos, you have videos, you have memories, you have, things that you've participated in. And so it's a very unique event in the idea that everything else is just a vendor row. And that's what really drew me to it. That's what really excited me about it. Coming from the corporate world where we did events and did things like that, there's always a lack of return of value on these events where there's like your sales guys have to justify being there. and justify renting the space and justify the expense of putting people out onto the road and to these events and the hotels and all that other stuff. Takeover is a different animal. Takeover is like justifying why you're waiting to reserve your spot. Like it's the opposite of the other stuff. So, to anyone out there that has a brand or whatever, I'm not just talking up Takeover because I'm a part of it now. I believe in it. I believe in what the actual community benefits from it.
Well, the community benefits in it, and the proof's in the pudding because it sold out in 3 minutes. Yeah.
So the unique thing about Takeover is because there's such a high demand from the community side of it.
That's faster than a Pearl Jam concert. Yeah. It's just mind-blowing.
I am not a Pearl Jam fan, so I can understand why they
Find a
wouldn't sell
Garth
out.
Brooks concert.
Not a fan.
He's so full of it, guys.
Now, a Metallica concert or a Slayer concert, I can understand that.
Let's listen to Metallica on the way here, buddy.
Nice.
Yeah.
But the point being is that, so to speak to what you just said, they have to launch camping sales on an actual point in time versus just leaving them open because people reserve them out a year or 2 years out in advance. So if we didn't take over the camping spots for the time during the event, like nobody would ever have camping, period. Like it just wouldn't exist because it would constantly be reserved out a year in advance. And so what they've done is they've worked with the campgrounds that are on site, the ones that connect to the event, and said, let's just buy those campsites out. And what we'll do is we'll just have them all go on sale at one point in time. And then it's a land rush for everybody to, buy a camp spot, right? And that varies between hookups and dry camping and all that kind of stuff. And there's different price points, and those are all determined by the campgrounds and the negotiations that happen there. But Takeover doesn't gouge them, doesn't mark them up an extreme amount of money. There's a little bit on top just to help support the event and get things done. The logistics around, overtaking an entire town, basically. There's logistics that cost money, so there has to be a markup of some sort. So they don't gouge them like a lot of the other events do. Like you can go to an event in Vegas and all of a sudden your hotel room went from, $100 a night to $1,300 a night, or you can go to some of these cities like Houston or whatever that the RV places double, triple their costs. So we don't do that. But so they put them all on sale on a Saturday at noon per location, and pretty much all the camping spots sold out under. The fastest one was just under 3 minutes, and the longest one was just under 5 minutes. So a lot of people are upset about that. A lot of people are giving us grief on Facebook and whatnot. But honestly, that's, with the current setup the way it is, that's the easiest, most fair way for us to do it, is just to say, okay, everybody at once.
Yeah.
Go buy it.
In Coos Bay on that block that's by Boxcar, that's not the only campground. There's a lot of campgrounds.
There's a lot of campgrounds.
Yeah. You got to stay on it though.
The biggest problem is people just don't want to have to travel to get to the event.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
You're traveling through the dunes. It doesn't get any better.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
and all that said though, the important thing to remember is that Pearl Jam's coming to Missoula, and I'm going to take you to that and convert you into a Pearl Jam fan. They got a new record out.
Yeah. I don't even know.
Oh man, I put it on my iPhone right now, and the waterfall plays in the background. It's magnificent.
Does it put you to bed at night?
Absolutely.
It would stress me out. So, anyways,
this guy isn't screaming.
There is no angst in this. Why is it not working? So, anyways, I just wanted to say that there's a huge demand to attend Takeover, and there's a reason behind that, and that is everyone gets something from it. Everyone has a memory. Everyone has an experience. And so I'm excited coming from the, technical and marketing and graphics and web and video and all these different things that I'm a professional in. I can bring that to the table for UTV Takeover to grow what they're doing and optimize what they're doing and take a lot of the stress off those guys. And so we're looking forward to an awesome year. Things are selling out fast. Camping sold out. Tickets are selling like hotcakes. The VIP is selling out in various places where you can get extra swag with your ticket purchase.
Yeah, I'm a vendor there, and that's the only way I can participate. So
you'd be surprised how many people are willing to
sell something
just to get a spot.
For sure.
So
for sure.
anyways, things are moving fast, and we're looking forward to an awesome year where we can be a part of the community, to involve the community, to benefit the community, and bring a lot of these things that you just don't experience at a normal event to the front of people's eyes.
How stoked are you to go back to Utah, though?
Oh, how awesome is that?
I've been thinking about it a lot, and I think that we'll probably wind up there before Takeover, maybe one time this year, and I'm so looking forward to it. I did get invited to Easter Jeep, though. I might be going down to Easter Jeep. I won't take a side-by-side. I know this isn't the Jeep by Jeep Guys podcast, but nonetheless, it'd be cool to, kind of mixed emotions.
Off-road's off-road.
Yeah, I mean, kind of mixed emotions about going to Moab for the first time and not on a side-by-side and not going there to generate, I'll be going down there predominantly with a camera in my hand, but I couldn't recommend Sand Hollow enough. That was such an amazing time.
Yeah.
And that's an event that has the capacity to really take off based on how close to LA and close to Vegas it is.
I need to go look at what events this was, but there was an event that was just a Jeep event that was just canceled in Moab because the city council shut it down.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So they've got
Jeep Safari, I think, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
One of those got shut down, got their permit pulled. Like it was already in motion, but they pulled it.
Yeah.
And what their excuse was that they wouldn't be able to maintain COVID restrictions while in the outdoors.
Yeah. In reality, it was a bipartisan Karen effort,
right,
that got that shut down.
And so their legislative group down there, city council and all that, is paying to wine and dine the officials at the state level to, pass this new bill that they're introducing to very isolatedly target side-by-sides and Jeeps and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And
let's get a shirt going, Side-by-Side Guys against Moab Karens.
I like it.
Yeah.
We should do that. That's a good idea. We should do something like that. And then donate it
100%.
Towards the efforts.
God, this is what we do here, man. We just solve problems.
So anyways, if you're in the ability to support the efforts down in Moab, check out Utah UTV. Support the efforts that they're backing to fight against all this, because essentially it's just going to eventually work its way out to everybody's neck of the woods, right?
For sure.
So what they're doing is unfair, and we need to support that group to maintain our access. But anyways, back to Hurricane. I can't wait to go back there. It has just a little bit of everything for everybody, and everything has an epic view associated with it. Everything has, some sort of uniqueness that we just don't see on the West and East Coasts.
Imagine wheeling the Grand Canyon. That's what we're looking at.
I think I told you last time that there's trails that take you from Hurricane all the way to the Grand Canyon.
For sure.
I think that needs to be something we do.
Yeah, I think if we go down a day or two early, let's just plan on knocking it out.
So it sounds like you can do it like one day out, one day back.
There's no way I'm not going down there. There's no way I'm going down there without the X3 this time.
Yeah.
I think the X, I felt like I had the car, the 4-seater. I did. It was great, but just some of those dunes there are just begging for a 2-seater, just a high horsepower 2-seater. It was incredible.
It's cool how unique the dunes are, because they're not just like the normal dunes that you see going up and down, right? They're very feature-esque. Like they have uniqueness to them.
Yeah.
So I really liked that.
I've seen some footage from some people that maybe don't have a lot of sand time, some noobs, and you saw those sharp drop-offs when you're heading towards the south, and some of those have some pretty aggressive rocks at the base of those dunes. So once you commit to going down that, you're not going to get it shut down in time, and before those rocks really do a number on you. And I've seen some footage, especially from oh gosh, there was an event out there about 3 weeks ago. It was a big Jeep event. I can't remember the heck it was called. It was I'll think of it. We actually generated a video. One of my coworkers took his Jeep up the chute, and he's got no lockers. He's got, and he just went right up it. And
that's a commitment statement versus I have the equipment statement.
Oh yeah, no, he's a savage, no doubt about it. Shout out David. So that was pretty sick.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting to the East Coast and Virginia and seeing just the different culture and the different experiences that people have out there. I'm just
going to put it out there right now. You're going to love Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to absolutely love it. When I went to Virginia, and my plan, here's the problem. I want to go to Virginia, and I want to feature at Virginia. but some of my biggest customers in power sport are going to be at Dune Fest at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a rock and a hard place.
Dune Fest is on the West Coast.
Dune Fest is at Winchester Bay. Yeah. And that's going to be 15, 20,000 people, so long as it goes.
Hopefully it will.
Yeah, hopefully it goes. Yeah. So I'm kind of in a coin flip right now. For the company I work for, Full Throttle Battery, Full Throttle is doing exceptionally well on the West Coast. So it might even make more sense for me to go to the East Coast.
Right.
But it's Winchester Bay. So
it's your it's your secret love.
It's my honey hole.
Yeah.
And but in reality, today, if I had to make the call, I'd go to Virginia. I just, and I'm telling you, like I said, it was amazing. When I went there, I went all the way, I flew into Charleston, West Virginia, and drove down to Grundy, where the event was. And I drove all the way through north to south through Boone County. And Boone County is famous for, amongst other things, the Hatfield-McCoy Trail System and bluegrass, moonshine. It was something
a lot
else.
of culture over there.
It's just, I'm so addicted to Americana. And we find this thing in UTVs that we love. And that's part of the allure for me to go on doing these BDRs is the fact my addiction to Americana, just going to see this stuff and just going to these places that would normally be a 10 to 14 day adventure for me, or maybe shorter if I took it on a bike. But I just, that trip that I made a year and a half ago out to Grundy, I just can't wait to hear what your take is. It was so cool.
Yeah, so hopefully this will be a cool year because the focus will be on capturing content with the takeover events. So I'm going to be out there with the cameras, with the drones, with the team of people that volunteer and all that to find cool stuff and
the B-roll.
Try to capture the experience.
Yeah, the B-roll you're going to get out there is stellar. I mean, you can go 10 minutes out of Grundy to the north and find old coal mines and stuff. And that stuff is, especially because our show is really listened to on the West Coast, especially in the Pacific Northwest. You're going to show them stuff that normally they probably wouldn't see. So it's
and
really
that's
neat.
One of my goals is to not stay so focused on the Northwest or the West Coast, to really experience the entirety of the United States, and maybe even more than that. Last year we were looking at going to Canada and paying a visit to Al Macbeth.
We already would have.
And we already would have put that out there, but COVID screwed that all up. So we're looking forward to kind of getting back to a process of normalcy, and not normal like as in COVID's gone, but normal as in like there's a process to do something. Like we're not being held back. There's just a way of doing it now.
Right.
And I really want to create more content that is just jaw-dropping content that people don't get to see normally. So it'll be fun. We got the takeover events. That's 4 events. There's going to be one. The first one's in Coos Bay, Oregon. Second one's in Grundy, Virginia. Third one is in Winoka, Oklahoma, which I'm excited to go, experience. And then the fourth one is back in Hurricane.
Winoka may have been one of the funnest takeover events I've ever been to from an all-encompassing standpoint. The riding was very fun. The town was incredible. I mean, I think the only way that
it's a small town, so it's right up your alley.
It would literally be like if UTV Takeover in Coos Bay had access to downtown Coos Bay, to where you could drive. You could literally drive your side by sides right downtown, eat, dine, hang out. Just I mean, that's really the only way to describe it. And Winoka is just. It was so much fun.
Anytime you can take whatever experience you're having and encompass the entire day with it, so that including your travel, your eating, your dining, your recreating, all of it. If you can put it all together, it's such a unique new experience that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah. It was super easy to get to too, man. You just drive to Denver, head east, go into Kansas, drive 250 miles, make a right, and stop when you see sand dunes.
Yeah,
that's pretty much in a nutshell how it worked. So,
there's no easy way in.
Have you ever been to Oklahoma?
I haven't been there. No.
Be on the lookout for spiders.
Yeah,
there's spiders down there. I saw one on the road that
made your car go up.
I mean, you're probably talking maybe about 2/3 the size of like a 16-inch laptop, something like that. Oh, just
big old tarantula.
Oh yeah, just.
Coming from an Arizona background, I know what big spiders look like.
Yeah, just 8 legs of nope. Yeah.
I think the one of the funniest things that ever happened was when the wars over in the Middle East were happening and people were starting to understand what like camel spiders and all that stuff were. Those all became big memes on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man, that stuff's been down in the desert forever. Like,
Yeah.
that's normal.
Yeah. No, we get to see some pretty cool stuff on our little adventures. Remember the jackrabbits on the Idaho run?
Dude, that was so weird. Just
Dude,
out of nowhere.
They're
Just
as big
ears.
as a big screen. They're huge, dude. They're like size of a VW bug.
Yeah. The big
Yeah,
rabbits.
it's like a jackalope.
And I apologize. There's probably a couple less in the world after our trip, but you know,
I didn't hit a single one. I would never do such a thing.
I didn't hit any. I just
I
flew
didn't hit
over
any
them.
either. I didn't hit a single one. Like I literally ducked a couple of them because
It was crazy because
I'm an animal lover.
The funny thing is we never saw any during the day. We always saw them at night.
Right.
And so they must just
That's
have
because
some sort of-
hawks probably do. Well, I guess hawks probably go after them anytime.
Yeah,
but-
probably owls at night. But
Yeah.
but yeah, we never saw them during the day. It was during at night. We just always saw them on the road. But anyways, so looking forward to the rest of the year.
That was a sharp derail.
That was a pretty- yeah.
My bad.
You brought up furry animals. It just got me all fuzzy inside. So, looking forward to the rest of the year. We have, of course, those events coming up. We have some BDR stuff coming up. Anything else that you have on the plate?
Well, we got a little window after Winchester. You know, we got a window where we'll probably, you know, what we were talking about doing in Moses Lake, Priest Lake, and stuff like
Right.
that will probably get hit during that window. So
Right.
be on the lookout for that because it's probably going to happen pretty early in the year. And then after June 1st, I imagine is where we're going to start to venture out and do some travels.
Yeah, I would say after April, things are
Yeah.
going to get really, really busy.
sure.
So we should take some time now and go practice with your new camera. And I'm hoping to have a new camera soon and have some nice high def 4K content.
Yeah, we won't bore the listeners with camera details, but
High ISO sensitivity, dual gain sensors,
Two-door-
multiple card
yeah.
slot transitions with multiple megabyte transition files.
you know what's funny is you and I are just having a conversation, and that's the show today. But I have noticed that you've updated your camera because it's tracking eye focus. It's got I did this thing has IAF, doesn't it?
Well,
It looks like it, 'cause
Kinda,
it's-
but no.
It's dropping on my eye.
yeah, it's trying to figure out where you are behind the camera, or behind the microphone.
Not bad for a camera made in 1996.
It's outdated for sure. It's been a good set of camera gear, but
sure.
it's time to upgrade. So you've stuck to the Canon wagon. I'm jumping to the Sony wagon.
I know we're always at ends.
And,
Polaris versus Can-Am. I had you on Canon, and now you're about to jump ship.
Well, my entire family's been Canon ever since I grew up. So,
Yeah.
or since I was a kid, I should say. And so my dad's got like 30 grand in Canon equipment, and my brother, you know, I use his Canon stuff all the time, and so it's been in our blood. We've been a Canon household, but where I'm going with it, I need reliability, I need flexibility, I need a lot of the video production stuff that is on that system.
So here's the thing: what we're talking about right now, I don't think the listening audience is going to.
No, we lost half our audience.
No.
So.
I honestly just bear with us until maybe like next November, next October, and you're going to see what these new upgrades and this new gear is actually doing for us because
You're going to see what I'm
it
doing
is
a lot
night
earlier than
and
that.
day.
So
yeah, it's going to be night and day. I mean, I don't even want to let the cat out of the bag because we've got some ideas, and I don't want people pilfering them. So.
yeah, so hopefully people enjoy the stuff we put out. I know a lot of people, you know, comment, "Hey, that was awesome to watch," or you know, "Looked really awesome," or whatever.
It's about to go right through the roof.
Yeah,
like when you look at the vlog. So we shot our last year's Winchester vlog.
Yep.
On
that was like our first
mirrorless.
vlog.
I don't think, you know, if you look really closely, you can see what you know, you can definitely point out the camera the phone shots, the shots that you did on your Samsung, and you can definitely see the stuff that you shot on your was it 50 on 90D?
So 70 and an 80D.
70 and an 80D. And then when I go to the drone on that Hasselblad lens, looks gorgeous. Just
the
gorgeous.
scenery looks gorgeous,
Oh,
right? I mean,
yeah.
it's like you can't make good looking stuff bad.
Yeah. No, I just, you know, between my R5 and what you're looking at doing with Sony, it's just gonna have a look to it that I don't know that too many side by side media media outlets are going to be able to duplicate. I mean, they could probably duplicate it. Just you know,
sure.
It's definitely something we're passionate about. We'll just go with that.
The idea that taking things to the next level is not just for this channel's gain.
Yeah.
It's that I want to actually be doing this full time all the time, all year.
Have fun for a living.
And that's really what it comes down to. That's why I left my job. That's why I refocused my efforts in my career and everything else, was that I was done, benefiting somebody else for something I don't enjoy, and moving towards a situation where at the end of the day, I'm happy. My family's happy. I'm not stressed out. And it's everything I wanted in life as far as like experiences go.
Yeah.
And then helping other people experience it. Like, I don't want to just go be the guy that's out doing stuff all the time and then showing off. I want to do stuff with people.
Yeah, that's what I do. So
So anyways, this year should be interesting. We have some stuff on the books to figure out logistically and accomplish. And then I have all this other stuff now on my plate with Takeover, and hopefully all the little gaps in between get filled with some awesome vlog content. And just a lot of fun stuff coming up. And this year is kind of still up in the air. There's still lots of little pieces that need to fall into place. But I think we're all kind of excited to find that normalcy of figuring out how to accomplish things in a new way and make things happen.
I kind of wonder, in terms of one of the vlogs that we might do this year, just to let the cat out of the bag, I have a custom toy hauler being made right now. And it's going to be big enough to haul a 4-seater and a 2-seater at the same time. And a lot of the other custom features were done. Now, for the amount of money that they're charging for this trailer, it is substantially more affordable than some of the, like, I would say, premier toy hauler companies, say something like ATC, ATC, or I was kind of stoked on Pacific Coachworks. Pacific Coachworks makes the Sand Sports series, and those were a series of toy haulers I really like. I really want us to do a feature on this toy hauler that we have coming, because I really think, basically, I asked this custom builder, I said, I want you to build me a garage with a living quarters, and he did. And I think we pick it up in mid-April, and it's going to be absolutely sick, and we'll
have to do a vlog on it
for sure. But the thing is, you've mentioned now over the last 5 minutes, you've mentioned logistics a few times. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a really, really key piece of gear for some of the lofty goals that we have going on.
We need to be able to go places, and that part of that is having a place to wrench, work, sit, eat, sleep, all that stuff, without having to figure out, how much camping gear, what electronics, charging systems, everything. And sometimes you're just way more efficient if you can just sit at a table and do something and then leave again.
Right.
So,
camera's froze.
Your camera's froze?
Yeah. It says it's recording, but the image is froze.
You broke my camera.
I just hit the record button. It froze just sitting there a minute ago, and then all of a sudden the image did its thing, and now you're pressing all kinds of buttons. Basically, I think what's happening here is we just had that camera discussion, and his Canon 70D here caught wind that he is looking at possibly going to a Sony. And it is now protesting. Pretty soon here, it'll be flipping over cop cars on the 6 o'clock news. Oh, it's back. It's back. It came to the negotiation table.
I'm sorry, Canon.
Crisis averted.
I'll tell you what, Ian, if we can get Canon to sponsor the show and what we do over the next couple weeks before I get my order in, I would gladly stick with Canon.
There are two sponsors that would be my dream sponsor. One is Canon, and the other, oh man, don't judge me, it's Patagonia. Patagonia clothing. I'm a Patty Gucci slut. Yeah. I'm not even going to apologize for it.
Shout out to Off the Grid. They were a big old presence at King of Hammers this year.
Were they?
Yeah.
So, that's right. I actually did a little work with them before they... Oh man, I actually got a message that I got to return to those guys. Apologies, guys. I needed to get a couple of batteries to the owner, and I got one. I got his truck handled, but he wants to do some toy hauler stuff around some D-cycle stuff. Just that the day that happened, the day that he put in the request was the day my mom got in a head on, and needless to say, that was a little bit of a rough day. But
you'll catch up.
Off the Grid, honestly, like I looked at Off the Grid surplus there, and that's something that Wes, our buddy Wes from the BD, turned us on to, and that's one of those clothing companies just look at. So like, these guys just make clothes for me. It appears like, you know, so, When did you get a Boba Fett doll on your shelf back there?
Dude, that's been there for a while.
Is it?
That's my little Boba Fett.
When are you gonna get? You gonna get Baby Yoda back there? Or?
nah, that's a little too far.
A little too trendy.
But because this guy existed before that ever existed. So.
You know he did. That's true.
Those have been on my monitors and shelves for years and years and years. So
yeah. I noticed that the chips are still there, though. You're not doing
they
the hot
are.
chip
So,
yet?
so I don't know if anyone's caught on to this, but I'm challenging a few different people to the Pocky Chip Challenge. And during this winter, my family got COVID, and I lost my sense of taste. And I still am just now getting it back, and that's been a couple months. I mean, I got it on Thanksgiving. So that's kind of the time span it's been. I can taste sweets, I can taste salts, I can taste earthy stuff, but I can't taste like spicy, super hot stuff or kind of the stuff you enjoy day to day. So I thought it would be really unfair for me to challenge a bunch of people to something that I had an unfair advantage on. So
yeah, I saw the live videos that you were doing and stuff. You're trying to drink your Monster juice. You couldn't taste it. Threw it across the garage. This house is a prison.
I didn't go quite that Kyle on it, but it's been
punching
hard.
holes in your drywall.
I'll tell you what, though. Not drinking energy drinks because I couldn't taste them. Not drinking coffee because I couldn't taste it. Not drinking various different things or eating things because I couldn't taste it. You know,
Talk about flipping cop cars over on the 6 o'clock news.
You got the guys, the world's most exuberant barbecuer and cook and all that stuff. So it's been hard. But on the flip side, I've lost a lot of weight, so that's been great.
Who'd you challenge to the chip challenge?
So I
know George was one of them.
I called George out, and I want to get a few other.
What's up, George?
Shout out to George. He's recovering from a big old bike accident. He hasn't really been able to do much, and he got out to Hammers this weekend. So
yeah, I saw that.
He's not full speed yet, but
UTV Sports Mag put up something on Instagram today as a sick picture of him in front of his YXE, and it just looks awesome. Yeah.
So he took it hard crash on his road bike and broke a bunch of stuff and whatnot. So hopefully he's on the mend and he's out at Hammer. So I know he's at least trying.
Yeah.
But him, and I want to get a few other kind of online personalities involved, and I'll do a live podcast type scenario where we have maybe some people moderate. Maybe you, because you're not going to participate.
I don't tap out on a lot of things, but I'm tapping out on that. Yeah.
I have a buddy here, Brady, who is my long bearded brethren. He's going to jump in on it. And so I want to get some other personalities online, see if we can't make this a thing. And if you're interested online to participate, maybe we have some sort of social connection to it, and maybe we have more people involved as well. But
yeah, in the nights that we've shared hotel rooms and stuff like that,
that got really
I know, right?
sensitive.
I just felt myself going somewhere inappropriate. But
you shouldn't be feeling yourself at all.
Well, you were watching that that YouTube series, that Hot Ones,
right?
And
it's one of the ones I subscribed to.
Which is funny because like I started I watched a couple with you, and I'm like, it's okay, it's pretty good.
It's meh.
So then I showed one to my wife, and we've watched the whole series.
You've watched all of them.
No, it's fantastic. It's a great show.
He's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, he starts interviewing people that I'm interested in, and he asks like the best questions in the industry.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm thanks for that.
Yeah, diamond in the rough for sure.
Yeah,
and he's got some really good episodes. It was hilarious when Gordon Ramsay was on there.
He was great.
Wasn't that awesome?
He was great, and I think that guy's kind of a jerk. But no, he was fantastic. I loved Shaquille O'Neal. Dax Shepard, who's on the new Top Gear. Dax was.
How about that new Top Gear? Are you excited about that?
The fact that Dax was on it, I was like, okay, I'll give it a watch.
I'll give it a try.
But then I can't remember the guy's last name, but it's Rob. He's from Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yep.
Rob McElhaney?
No,
that's the dude from It's
I'm
Always Sunny.
Name, so I
know. That's the dude from It's Always Sunny. No, I think I am going to watch it from just because those two guys are on it. Like, I like Dax. I've always liked Dax. I like his movies. I like Chips. I liked Hit and Run. But Rob is the best second man.
He's the counter.
He is hilarious.
Yeah.
No, I think that guy's great. So I think they've set themselves up for a pretty good show. So I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know it, but Dax has been involved with Polaris for quite a while, and he's involved with Tatum as well. Like he's got a Tatum Sandcar, big 4-seater, and so
he's totally into the adrenaline cars.
Yeah,
so
he's a bro.
Yeah, maybe one of these days we can get him out to one of those events.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, lots going on this year. It doesn't seem like if you whittle it down to bullet points, it's like there's a lot going on, but each one of those things has a lot going with it. So look forward to a lot of that. And hopefully we can see a lot of you out at these events. Now that people are getting out and doing things, don't be shy saying hi and doing high fives and all that stuff. So look forward to a whole new year full of exciting announcements and products and things like that. We know that there's things coming out. We just apparently don't want you to have them. So we're going to keep them under our wings.
We're just going to keep talking about them.
We're just going to keep talking about them. We're going to keep making up new cars. How about that?
Yeah.
So next episode, we'll have a new Yamaha.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll do maybe Kawasaki.
Yeah,
we'll do, how about CF Moto? We'll do a CF Moto next time.
Moto, yeah. I mean, this podcast has drug on. We better check social media because maybe the speed car did come out over the course of this, the recording of this. So,
all right. On that note.
I'm kidding.
If you
we haven't even gotten past spring yet. We got to talk about summer.
We just got into February.
I know. Yeah.
So anyways, if you don't follow us on YouTube, go subscribe there at youtube.com/side-by-side guys. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all the different places out there.
We're on TikTok?
We tick the talk, bro.
Follow us on TikTok, bro.
Swipe up. Anyways, till the next time. Peace.